Welcome to Fullerton College Baseball on SportsNetUSA.net. Hey, I'm Mark Pavlovich, and I hope you're going to have a good Memorial Day weekend. Realize, take a little time out this Memorial Day weekend and think about those individuals that gave it all so that we can be here this weekend doing what we're doing, enjoying baseball here at Fullerton College. So take a breath, read some of the stories you see online about the great men and women who sacrificed it all for our country through the years, not just recently. Go back and look. Last I saw, there was one World War II veteran left, and at the rate we're going right now, we're losing World War II veterans at an outstanding rate. So take a little time out. If you've got a veteran in your family, maybe have them tell you stories about what it was like and the friends that they left behind. I want to thank all the gentlemen I knew that served with my father, to Corey Nalen's good friends that have been in the service. Thank you, gentlemen, and to the gentlemen and ladies you served with along the way. So, yeah, you could say Happy Memorial Day, but that's exactly what it is. It's a Memorial Day here on SportsNetUSA.net. But we're here for community college baseball, and today Noah Alvarez is going to be joining us. Ryan Osborne, Joseph Pavlenko, like normal, are always out here. The season is winding down for these Fullerton College Hornets against the Saddleback Bobcats today. And it has been an interesting season, to say the least, for all these student athletes that are on the field today.
Leading off for Saddleback College, number 36, Jacob Nasso.
Nasso, Gardner, and Stuka will lead it off, and in a second we'll set the defense for the Hornets. Noah Alvarez will set that defense for the Hornets for us. First pitch to Nasso, taken for a strike. Ryan Osborne being the commander of the ship today. Tell us on the mound for the Hornets today. The Hornets lost their last 5 coming into the game, taking it right back up the middle.
Shortstop, number 8, Lance Gardner.
So I called him NASA, right? Because that's what it was.
Yeah.
That was a comet going back up the middle. His name's actually Nasso, but I'm going to add a little flavor as the day goes on here. Nasso over at first base. Gardner, playing short for the Bobcats, is up. Throw over to first. Close on that one. Fullerton 6-20 overall, 2-15 in conference. 2 victories here at home this season. Throw back over. Oh, better throw that time around. No, it was right there on the bag. Nice pickoff move.
Yeah, and if the base runner wasn't awake, he's definitely waking up after those 2.
Tailor-made double play ball. Denbo to Lamastra to Medina, 6-4-3. And so 2 down here in the first inning.
So I got that defense for you, Mark. Behind the plate for the Hornets today, we have Andrew Sanchez. On the mound, as you mentioned, Julian Tellez. Over at first, we have Michael Medinas playing second.
Playing second, Ryan Lamastra, who gets that. So we'll get back to that defense as the Hornets get out of that first inning. No runs on one hit, no errors, and one big double play as we head to the bottom of the first. It's the Bobcats 0, the Hornets coming up the bat here on SportsNetUSA.net. Let's get to the defense for the Bobcats now, Noah, so that we don't have to wonder how many guys they are playing with defensively.
So behind the plate for the Bobcats, they do have Turner Pruitt. He'll be doing the catching for this afternoon. Robbie Weiskittle will be playing first base. And then at second base, we have Robert Wood. Across the diamond over at third is Clayton Gott. At shortstop, Lance Gardner. In left field, we have Isaiah Foz. Center fielder, Jacob Nasso. And right field, Liam O'Connor.
So that gives you the defense for the Bobcats coming into this game. Ryan Osborne, it has been a good season, not a winning season, but a good season because now you've really expanded the lineup and seen the multi-talented players on this Hornet baseball team.
Well, I think when you talk about that, Mark, coming into this season, did you realize as this Hornet team came up and started their initial lineup that you'd have 4 different left fielders, all of which who are hitting above 290? Then you have 3 different guys who can play third base, and all of them have the ability to hit over 300. And again, you have Marco Malerba over at first, Sawyer Chesley over at first as well, who can all play the first base bag. You talk about different lineups that this team can use. Going into year number 2 with a lot of freshmen, they have the ability to plug in anyone into a lineup in different positions.
Yeah, it really is. We saw, when you look at the roster, Ryan, it felt like it was 42 deep, and now when you look at the lineups, they really do have 3 starting lineups that are different on this team.
When you talk about that, Mark, I mean, you look at a guy like a Haku Dudois, who started off the season in left field. He was hitting, and then all of a sudden, you have a guy like Dominic Martinez, who comes in and says, yeah, you're hitting, but you know what? I've got the extra bases as well and the fielding. Then you move Haku around in the outfield. You look at shortstop. David Barrios taking over halfway through the season. Ryan Lamastra over at second, working things out with Brock Denbo as well. There's a lot of depth in this order for Fullerton College now.
Yeah, and when you think about the depth, you can look at it here where normally we're used to seeing Dominic Martinez lead off a game for him. Nowhere to be found in the lineup today. So they started off with a walk.
Second baseman number 1, Ryan Lamastra.
Ryan Lamastra comes up. Lamastra out there today. So we'll see if they will do what Ryan Osborne has initiated all year long. Take off on that first pitch. Just off the plate. I like the baseball uniforms for this Bobcat team.
That font across the chest. It's new and it's pretty nice. Mark, you and I were talking about this during game 1 of the softball doubleheader. It seems like a brand new color scheme for the Bobcats.
It does. And the unis, I think Corey would like them too. Basically, when you look at their jerseys, black with maroon in the sleeves. Maroon color there. Throw over to first, not in time. Turner Pruitt trying to catch that runner strand. Noah, you look at the young man that's on the mound right now for the Bobcats. Throwing a lot of curveballs as he goes out there.
Yeah, it shows that he's not too confident in his fastball to start off this game.
Three and one, runner at first. Hornets get out of the top of the first unscathed. Throw back over there. Ryan, you keep thinking that the Bobcats expect the Hornets to run early in this game.
Yeah, and they're trying to keep the runner close, but the thing is, Mark, is you also have to be able to pitch to the guy at the plate as well. And if you're going to give up 8 balls out of the 10 pitches that you end up tossing, it's not going to be too dangerous when you're throwing over to first. All Fullerton has to do is just kind of sit there at the plate and wait for you to throw a strike.
So Lamastra gets on as Jack James gets ready to come up.
Designated hitter number 16, Jack James.
Jack's getting an opportunity to play, and this is what you're going to hear today. And again, when we say that, it doesn't mean that it's the last game of the season. So, hey, you sat on the bench all year. It means what Ryan Osborne said. This is a team that has depth, and in the last few games has been looking to find that winning combination in that depth. Another ball. So right now, the young man on the mound for the Bobcats is struggling, Noah.
And Mark, here's where Fullerton can take advantage. Those runners, knowing that he's struggling, can start to get into his head if they take off.
I think that one clipped him, didn't it?
It did. It hit the back of his calf.
So James gets hit. That brings Twist up
Right
with bases
fielder,
loaded.
number 27, Tristan Twist.
Tristan Twist. Another of those young men that are getting an opportunity today, has bases loaded, no outs here in the bottom of the first. So right now, if you're the Bobcats, you're hoping that you can find some way to get out of this inning with not giving up much. Twist swings through that one. Cameron Cook trying to find the strike zone. Twist off the end of the nub. Going down, there's only one place for him to go. And that's over to first, but Twist is going to get an RBI to start this game.
Third baseman number 26, Nick Hill.
Mark, you always talked about looking the runner back. On that one, once it goes over to third, you could see the entire defense was just sold on that out to first. Nobody took a look at the runner moving around after the out was recorded. So if you're Ryan Lamastra over at third, that out gets recorded at first, I'd take a couple extra steps towards home to see whether or not the Saddleback Bobcats are even watching for that extra bag.
Well, if they play like major leaguers, what they would have done is they would have chased somebody back towards, then they would have stopped, then they would have said, wait a minute, how many outs are there?
2.
And both runs would have scored by that time.
The thing that still baffles me about that play, Mark, all he had to do is take one step back, touch first base, and the inning is over.
Just amazing, you know. I think I would have docked him $100,000 for each step he took. Hill, runners in scoring position, takes that one on the corner. Cameron Cook now, finding the edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 in for the Hornets. Off the plate. Nice stop made there by Turner Pruitt. I mean, this is the thing, too, that people keep forgetting, Noah, is that person behind the plate saves a lot of runs for a team.
Because if that kicks off the heel of his glove, you can almost guarantee one Hornet runner scores. You have another one advancing up to third.
Taken back up the middle, ricochet shot, 1 run in. 2 runs in. So Cook takes that one off the back. We'll get timeout on a line drive back up the middle.
Looks like I skimmed the back of his shoulder. And that ball was coming off the bat pretty hot.
And I mean, Ryan, when you're a pitcher that follows through, traditionally follow through, you're supposed to follow through with your chest towards home plate. If you go old school, I know nowadays very few pitchers do that. They fall off the mound, they bend a lot, but old school you would face straight up. So worst case scenario, you get your hands up and not get hit by the ball.
And Mark, the other thing about getting hit by a comebacker like that is you got to think of the exit velocity. The exit velocity is going to be increased from what it was going towards home plate. So it's not like you're taking, an 85-mile-an-hour fastball off the shoulder. It's more like you're taking a 95, 98, 99-mile-an-hour fastball off the shoulder. And it's got some rotation to it, too. So if it hits you with the seam straight on your back, well, now it's hurting even more.
First baseman number 48, Michael Medina.
Take that from a hockey player that's been taken into the boards once or twice.
Took a puck to the mouth yesterday.
There we go.
Was very lucky to have a mouth guard in.
Michael Medina's now is coming up. So the Hornets, first on the board in this game. This game will be only 7 innings, the first of 2 today. Next one high. Oh, they called that a high strike. Whoa.
Slightly delayed, too.
They do know we make comments about them, too, on the air, don't they? Breaking ball. Settling underneath it is Nasso in center. He pulls it in. Runner tags, goes back to first.
Catcher number 9, Andrew Sanchez.
So names that we haven't heard a lot of this season, having opportunities. And so far, Ryan, everybody looks like they're ready to play this game today. They should have fun in this doubleheader for this Hornet team. Sanchez fouls it back. Some people are questioning the strikes on her watching this game. Down in the dirt. Once again, Turner Pruitt gets in front of it. No, did you ever catch when you played the game?
I did used to catch. It's a tough job back there. A lot of lateral mobility you need. And
So
what I liked. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's why he's slow with his thought process?
A little bit.
Okay.
It's a thinking man's game.
Pull down the line, fair ball. Sanchez rips it into the corner. On the way home with a stand-up double on just a shot down the line. Noah, there's nothing a third base person can do in that ball.
Didn't even have time to react down there for Clayton Gott.
And Ryan, what it makes, this is going to go back to your opening statement. And I don't mean it in a critical fashion. But just to watch this here, you go, coach, 32 players. Lose a game, throw 9 new players on the field. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but is it a reality on this team?
I think it is, and especially with, what we're seeing here. All these guys, like you mentioned, Mark, we haven't really seen them so far this year. Sure, they've made spot appearances here and there, but we haven't seen them have the opportunity to come out here and open up a game.
Number 14, Andrew Hayes.
When you're looking at Fullerton College depth-wise, it seems like they've got 2 or 3 guys at each position that can play. And when you have guys open up a game like this, a 4-0 ball game after just 2 outs in the first inning, then now you're looking at it the rest of the way to end out this season, and then also going into next year, saying, you know what, you might be in a really good spot going into the end here and the start of next year with all the depth that you have.
Yeah, it's just amazing. As now on the mound for the Bobcats is Andrew Hayes, ERA of 11.37. And no, Brian and I have discussed this all year. We got a little time we can take into the game. We've looked at high ERAs. We've sort of debated the fact, is it because of COVID? Is it because these guys didn't get to come out here and pitch all the time? You played the game, so what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think a year off is nice for injury prevention. You get your body some rest, but sometimes you miss the feel of the game and playing every day, practicing every day. And I'm sure a lot of these kids were able to practice with each other, practice with a few teammates, maybe get a couple organized practices, but it's not the same. And I feel like the flow, because as you know, baseball is a long season, no matter what level. And you don't always start the season your best, but when you don't jump into a season with any rhythm and have to find it and figure it out right away, I think it's toughest on the pitchers.
So Ryan and Ryan came over to that side. Noah feels it's that way. Corey Nealon, we really haven't had the chance to talk on the air with Corey this season. I think Corey would probably side on COVID affecting some of the players. Dean Drake now comes up. Dean's playing center field today for the Hornets. So the Hornets, 4 big runs here in the bottom of the first. Four runs on 2 hits. Aided with a couple walks and a hit batter. Dean pulls it. Tough play. Safe at first. Ball's dropped twice. So we're going to be cold. We're going to give that an error.
Yeah,
on
tough.
Robert Wood over at second base.
Mark, that error should be over at first because Robert Wood stayed over at his second base position.
I'm going to give it to him because I don't think he has the runner. I think the play is beaten because he drops the ball and then picks it up off the ground.
It was First who ended up dropping it.
He dropped it initially on the play, picked it up off the ground, right, Noah?
Yes.
Then threw over to first, and because of that, I think that's why the runner would have been safe, even if the first base person would have caught it. That's why I give an E4. So you get to choose at home. Either way, it's an E by Ryan Osborne and I. E3, E4, Corey Nealon. If you're watching, you let us know who you think made the error on that play. Tom Deep sitting down there, official scorekeeper, saying, oh, scoreboard worker, attendee, Tom Deep. Runner goes. Sky. Clayton Gott settles underneath it and makes the catch for the last out. But not before the Hornets get 4 runs on the board. 4 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. As we head to the top of the second, it's the Hornets 4, the Bobcats 0 here on sportsnetusa.net. Noah Alvarez, you didn't get to finish your homework in that first inning, so why don't you set that defense?
So we left off at second base with Ryan.
Well, give us the whole thing again, because some of us, we're old. We don't remember.
All right, for those old-timers listening in, Andrew Sanchez behind the plate. Michael Medina is over at first for the Hornets. Ryan Lemastro, who got the final out of the top of the first, over at second. Third base, Nick Hill. At short, Brock Denbo. And then in the outfield from left to right, we have Brad Pelkafor, Dean Drake in center, and Tristan Twist over in right field.
And Ryan Osborne, talk about somebody that's talented. I guess you got to say the young man that's on the mound is a versatile baseball player for this home team.
And again, he comes from a family line of Fullerton College Hornets because he has an uncle in Andy Telez who ended up playing here and is top 3 almost in every hitting for power category. Home runs, RBIs in a season. He's up there and has his name on the Wall of Fame directly behind us. Telez here himself also has power at the plate. He has the ability to throw with gas as well. So when you talk about him being not consistent, but versatile, we've seen him play at third, we've seen him play at first, and we've also seen him pitch.
Foz, who's playing left field now, is up for the Bobcats. New mascot, new unis. Hits it. Easily picked up there by Nick Hill and over to first. Smooth at third base.
Mark, you look at Hill when he picks that up. He had the motion of a double clutch and then just never brought it to his glove. It just stayed in his hand the entire time.
Number 35, Robbie Weiskittle.
It's
I
interesting.
don't think I've seen that before.
Either have I. It's interesting to watch all these different styles that we watch out here now. Some because of major league players, some because that's what they started in Little League and it stayed with them. I mean, Ryan Osborne literally walks around in cleats when he comes out here and still chews on rawhide, so that's not licorice. That's rawhide sitting next to him. We're going to have to ask Noah about that because we had a whole conversation about things you did as a kid playing the game. So Noah will get into this in a second. So did you chew on your glove when you were a kid when you played the game? We chewed on the rawhide strings on our glove.
I didn't chew on the glove, but I did chew on my shirt, the undershirt. I would pull it up to my mouth, and yeah, it was a weird habit I had. Stained a lot of my shirts that way.
So I was going to say you were hooked on a fabric softener is what you're telling me?
I think so.
Okay. Blue takes that one off the mask, a little readjustment. That's where everybody, hey, you know, that's the first time I've seen a pitcher walk down and look at the umpire and go, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hit you with the label. I don't know. Was that a strike? You called it a ball? Oh, maybe you flinched just before it hit your mask. Hornets up by 4 in this 7-inning game. And Tellis comes back with a strikeout. Smooth so far as a starter. O'Connor playing right field now is up.
Right fielder number 25, Liam O'Connor.
So now it's a baseball player destined to do commercials. Hi, I'm Liam O'Connor. Okay, how many Liams have you known through your life?
This is the first one.
Ryan Osborne?
Around 5 or 6.
It's a Colombian name? Is that what
No,
you're telling me?
not at all.
Oh, okay.
Very common in hockey.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Liam turns, fouls out one. So I never thought you were going to throw the puck card at me. So. Connor batting .240 this season. Has 4 RBIs. Struck out 10 times, walked once. So his walk to strikeout ratio as a hitter is 10-1 in favor of strikeouts. For those of you working on your math problems at home right now. He pulls it. Yahoo! Let me wave at that one going by. And, of course, as soon as you praise somebody, Ryan Osborne, Nick Hill goes, it's not in the glove. So
He tried to give it the old Mike Richter, and it ends up getting past him.
shot hit down
Catcher
there.
number 28, Turner Pruitt.
So Connor is on first with a base hit.
Now, Mark, see, that's where two different preferences take over. You have third basemen who prefer to play up on that ball. They take a step in and try and take it off the short hop. Or if you're going to do like what Hill did and try and throw the glove out there, use your reflexes, you take one step back, and that ball gives you an extra second to get into your glove, and you trust your arm and toss it.
Plus the apex is easier to pick it up here than
It's
it
at
is-
your shoulder level,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
rather than at your hip.
Exactly. But again, that goes back to Noah's statement. If you don't get to play a lot, Noah, those shots get hit at you. You're not reflex action. It's not memory. You know, muscle memory that you say, "Psst," and you get it with your glove.
And I'm sure when coaches or whoever's hitting grounders to him during this offseason, they weren't hitting it that hard either.
So both teams now have had somebody hit by a pitch. In the Hornets' case, it helped
Second
lead to
baseman
that
number
4-0
26,
lead.
Robert Wood.
So Robert Wood comes up. Runners in first and second, 2 outs. Beautiful Friday afternoon for baseball, and it's so nice out. We're going to play 2 today. So back-to-back people getting hit by pitches.
Third baseman number 19,
Clayton
Gott.
Gott comes up. Corey and I had a young man named Clayton on the show on sportsnetusa.net. It was a fun show. You can go back and see the shows on sportsnetusa.net. That was an interesting day because the young man we had as a cross-country coach, also a vice principal at a private school. He's got 3 master's degrees, well, maybe 2. He is a drummer in a band, and he actually brought up some trivia about the Beatles that he knew on a song that people who had had national Beatles shows did not know what he was talking about, researched it and said, oh my goodness, I never knew that thought. So, interesting interview with Clayton Bennett Payne on the show with Corey Nalen on sportsnetusa.net. Plus, he looks like Tyrone Power. So that's for the old group. Tell us. Comes back. 2-1 count. 2 outs. Bases loaded for the Bobcats. Trying to answer the 4 that the Hornets got in the bottom of the first. Up the middle, off the glove. Here comes 2. As Brock Denbo goes down, can't pull it on a layout play. And so the Bobcats get on the board.
You look at that for Denbo, Mark. He takes 2 steps up towards center field and then lays out for it. It hits off the top of the thumb of his glove and skips into center field.
So that brings Nasso up, who got a base hit his first time up to start this game off. Nasso pulls it again into the hole. They'll send the runner home. Throw to the plate is high. Throw over to third. Missed on that play. And we are all knotted at 4. Yeah.
Shortstop number 8, Lance Gardner.
Give the air on the throw or the dig at third?
The throw.
So Ryan Osborne gives that to Mr. Sanchez behind the plate. And Ryan, you're giving the air not because an out wasn't made, you're giving the air because the run scores. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
That is exactly why.
Just so people wonder at home who are watching this game go, why do you give the air? So if no one scores, you don't give an air.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because then you just have runners on second and third, and it's as if there was a no play or a hold at home.
Okay. So just to let you know, that's why Ryan Osborne gives the air to the young man catching for the Hornets. Wind up and throw in the dirt. E5 on that one. And a run scores. No RBI on the play.
Designated hitter number 23, Luke Stuka.
So Nick Hill, routine ground ball, winds up, throws it off first base, and now the Bobcats are in lead. And that brings up Mr. Stuka, and we've almost hit around.
And again, Mark, most of this came with 2 outs on the board. It starts with those hit batters, and then the line just keeps moving if you're going to give them free extra bases.
It's been a tough sequence of events, too, for Nick Hill over at third. Remember, he olayed that ball that was a screamer. Couldn't trap the one that was from Sanchez behind the plate. That one scooted out, allowed another run to score. And then a routine grounder.
Well, and Ryan Osborne's absolutely right because Foz grounds out to third base to start off the inning. Weiskill strikes out for the second out of the inning. Then we get a hit, hit batter, hit, which was a 2 RBI single. Then we get a hit with an error, and then we get an error. And that is what leads to the Hornets trailing by 1 here in the top of the second. And that is once again hit down the line. And another run comes in. Huge double.
Left fielder number 4, Isaiah Foz.
So Foz, who started this all off with a routine ground out over to Nick Hill, comes back up again. First game is 7 innings. second game is a full 9 here on sports@usa.net. Noah Alvarez will be doing play-by-play. Ryan Osborne doing color in the second game also. Then next week, a little softball tournament. And for this school year, that will bring us to an end here on sports.usa.net for calling games here at Fullerton College until football season. And we'll all be back here on sports.usa.net. Pulled down the line, just foul. And Ryan, you look at the defensive setup for the outfield for the Hornets right now. If that hits, that's an easy stand-up double, and if it's a young man that can run, he's standing over at third base, Noah Alvarez, with a stand-up triple.
Well, the way that ball ricocheted out in left field, it hit a root of that ivy that's out next to the outfield wall and kicked all the way into the corner. So the way that this field plays, that's at least a triple here.
Hard infields, interesting bounces over on the right side of the infield. And you watch Ryan LeMastre on this, Noah. Ryan comes in to cover second on a potential pickoff play, but then he goes and stands out in the outfield grass as a second base person.
I think he's aware of the runner's speed, so he's giving himself a little bit more time.
Well, Tellez gets the same young man out twice here in the second inning, but not before 6 big runs get put up on the board by the Bobcats. 6 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, 1 left on base. As we head to the bottom of the second, it's the Bobcats 6, the Hornets 4, here on Sportsnet. USA.net. Ryan, I don't know if you have it down there or not, if we've got any other play going on in our area right now. I don't know if you have that up. Let us know what's going on around the area. If not, I'll go to my man, Corey Nalen. He's probably in the helicopter out there someplace. Get Corey to call us in.
So later today in the Orange Empire Conference, Irvine Valley will take on Mount Sac. Santa Ana takes on Orange Coast. Golden West takes on Cypress. Then outside of the conference, Fresno City will be traveling to Reedley.
Leading off for the Hornets,
And Diablo Valley will be taking on Santa Rosa.
And Orange Coast has been the surprising team when you look at this conference altogether. And Ryan, I got to ask you that because, I mean, they've been at the top of the heap. Surprising team in first place?
It is. I mean, when you look at the hardships that they've had to go through, when you see what has happened to their program recently, unfortunately having the loss of their coach this last year right before their season was set to start, then you also look at how many guys were able to transfer out, considering how well Orange Coast had done the previous year. So it was almost like if they had to go full turnover with that program, and yet they're still at the top of the order in the Orange Empire Conference.
13-4 in conference, 19-6-1 overall, and right behind them on their heels is Santa Ana College, the Dons. Little Fullerton College connection with that Santa Ana team. The entire coaching staff, right, Ryan? Mm-hmm. Used to be here at Fullerton College. Ryan Osborne, Noah Alvarez, Joseph Pavlenko in the area. And a few more fans out here now. Used to be where they wouldn't let any fans out. They should be wearing their mask while they sit out there. I'm so confused by the CDC. It's like, should you wear a mask? Shouldn't you wear a mask?
I'm sure for you guys, though, who've been out here all season, well, not out here all season, but calling games all season, must be nicer to be behind the dugout than calling it remotely.
It is. It is. Our little play over at second. Flip over there in time.
Second baseman number 1.
So
Ryan
Robert
Lastra.
Wood shows his agility as a second base person. Doesn't circle it, comes straight at it, which Ryan Osborne has to appreciate, and makes the throw to first for the first out in this inning. Lamastra up walked in the first inning. Ryan Lamastra playing second base today for the Hornets. One's out of play. Lamastra drills one to the gap. Laid out and it's there. Ryan takes off. He's heading for third. They're going to stop him. Here comes the play at third base. It's going to be close. Lamastra goes down with a beautiful triple right past the 366 mark. Let's make it about 380. Ryan Osborne, for a little guy, he got all of it.
He didn't, but when you look at his path over towards third, that's the most impressive thing, Mark. That throw, sure, it goes behind third base, but you look at Lamastra's line around the first and second base bag. He was sold out for three the moment that he got 3/4 of the way up to first and takes the correct line over to third.
So Lamastra with a big triple here in the inning. Ball gets away. Doesn't go any places. Turner Pruitt gets it. And you know what I like too, Noah? The bench was yelling 3 when he hit first base, letting him know, hey, take 3. Even if he gets thrown out, he was being encouraged to hit for third base.
And I think he was helped out, too, by the left fielder's decision to throw it all the way to third and skip the cutoff because it was a high arcing throw. Not very accurate, too. It pulled him away from the bag, so that gave him a clear shot to get in safely.
Jane's now up. Hit by a pitch. First time up. High hands, Jack Scott at the plate. Gives his bat the little twirly with his hands up high. Pulls it down. Ryan, Noah, you know, they used to say when a guy would have his hands so high, as we've got here with Jack Janes up there, they would say, you can't catch up the fastball because you got to drop your hands. But watch his swing. He doesn't drop his hands. He swings from that position. Noah sort of gives me a, what, you don't agree with that?
No, I agree.
Oh, okay.
We just didn't get to see him swing on that one.
Okay.
Mark, when you mention it, it's not his hands that drop. It's his back shoulder.
2-2 count. Drives it into the same gap. That's going to get down. So Janes gets a base hit, and he does what Ryan Osborne loves to see a hitter do, Ryan. He takes the ball and goes in the direction you're pitching it to him at.
Fastball out and away, and he just goes with it. Like you mentioned, Mark, he doesn't try and drive it anywhere. He just lays the bat head out there. It makes contact, and he loops it out towards left field.
Tristan Twist now up. Had bases loaded Grounded out to a fielder's choice. He gets the RBI. So he's got an RBI in this game already. Grounded out to short. Lance Gardner got him last time. It's in off the plate. So we're all knotted. No, not yet. Close to. Sam giving the Hornets an additional run just because they scored one, being a nice guy. 6-5. Fouled away. And you saw Twist fouls it. The umpire waited to call it foul, no, because if he doesn't take off running, he's tagged out. The old adage, anytime you hit the ball, take off running from home plate as if you've drilled it down the line. Fouls it away. 2-2, 1 out. Well, if you like hits, you like runs, you like a little action, this should be the game you're watching on SportsNetUSA.net. Action galore here in the first 2 innings. Off the plate, just a little outside. Noah Alvarez settling in for game number 2. Wind looks like it's blowing straight out to center. 340 down the right field line, 334 down the left field line, 366 in the power alley in left, 373 in the power alley in right, and then it's a long way away, 405 feet. Boy, I'd be catching my breath walking out there. Ripped through the hole. And they play station to station on that one as Twist turned on it.
Third baseman number
And that brings up
26,
Nick Hill. Nick drove in 2 runs in the first inning. So we're going to have a little conversation here in the first game. Noah, big ballpark for a community college ballpark, don't you think?
405 to center, incredibly deep.
And
I think,
go ahead.
I was say, I think it allows kind of what Ryan was saying earlier. Just take the ball the opposite way. Try and dink and dunk your way to getting some runs rather than trying to power it over the fence.
And Ryan, you've walked the outfield with me. When you get out there, I mean, for an outfielder, you need to be pretty speedy to play at this Hornet field because there's a lot of footage to cover.
Not only is there a lot of footage to cover, but it's also looser grass than what you would see around the Orange Empire Conference. What you're used to seeing in the OEC is more matted, shorter grass that plays a little bit quicker. This grass here, if the ball gets hit out to the right center field or left center field gap, it's going to hit and deaden. So not only do you have to be able to cover that ground, you have to be expecting that ball to stop once it ends up getting out there. As opposed to something like at an Orange Coast, you go there and what you have to do is you have to make up the ground, but you can get behind a ball quicker. For this, you have to expect that ball to stop and then bounce away from you.
So once again, we get a change on the mound. Saddleback changing and getting another pitcher. So they've gone through 3 so far in this game today. Andrew Herbert, freshman, ERA 2.08. He's thrown 4 innings this season. Struck out 3, walked 8 in his 4 innings. So if you're a Bobcat fan, just like a Hornet fan, well, you get to see everybody who's on your roster in these last 2 games. which is fun for us. We get to see a bunch of new faces on these bright young student athletes. And when we talk about student athletes, that's what they are. Realized when we did softball, Ryan Osborne and myself the other day, Ryan, GPA for the softball team, 3.59. 10 academic All-Americans on the softball team. The one with the highest GPA, 3.92. So when you looked at it, the women for Speedy and Crystal, not only did they win the OEC, but they won in the classroom too. Very talented young women who are truly student athletes on the field.
It's something that you always talk about, Mark. You got to emphasize that student part of student athlete first. Then everything else is just added on to it.
Well, you know, when you're not pretty, you tell everybody how handsome you are. When you're not academically sound, you talk about those who are. So, you know, when you can't do, you teach. Wait a minute.
I mean, if that's the case, Mark, I should start teaching running.
Joe will be the first one to enroll in your class. Nick watches that drop a little low. 2-1. 1 out. 6-5. Runners at first and second. We're only in the bottom of the second. Like I said, 7-inning first game, full 9 in the second game. Nick takes one up around the shoulders and swings through it. Walks away, catches his breath. Down, gets away. Runners will advance. So a breaking ball. It ends up about being 2.5 feet too short. And Turner Pruitt can't handle it. Make that a wild pitch to advance the runners. 3-2, 1 out. Nick takes a deep breath with a 3-2 count. It's already got 2 RBIs in this game. Fouls that one away. Hornets in their white unis with their blue lettering. Ryan Osborne and I are waiting for the gold uniforms that they have.
Mark, this is a good opportunity, Joseph says, for a squeeze play.
Nice call, Joe. I like that. Nick says, no, it's easier to hit it right back up the middle. So Nick gets a base hit. Would have had 2 RBIs. Gets 1. Twist goes down at third base. Has an opportunity to get up and take off running. Does not.
48, Michael Medina.
But stays at third to play it safe. So now runners at second and third, and now we're tied up at 6.
There should be an error charged in center field for allowing him to get up to second.
And of course, somebody would ask why Ryan Osborne says there's an error on that play. Ryan, go ahead.
The reason why that is because it goes into center field. Center fielder takes it, drops it, it skips away from him, and in that time, the runner at first advances to second. You have to be responsible for the runner. If they're able to make an advancement in the scorebook, that's where the error comes in.
official scorekeeper did not. But we've never listened to him anyway, have we?
No, we have not.
So tied at 6 here in the second. Venus fouls that one up. Had a green light on a 3-0. With runners at second and third. Hornets looking to take the lead again. So they had a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the first. The Bobcats come back and get 5 in the top of the second. The Hornets so far responded with 2 in the bottom of the second. 6. Liam O'Connor pulls it in, and the Hornets are going to score another run.
Catcher number 9, Andrew Sanchez.
So 7-6. 6 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Bobcats. Should be 3 errors, but officially it's 2 errors. 7 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors for the Hornets. Sanchez hits it off the nub, and it's going to drop for a base hit. So he rips a double, then he comes back with it off the end of the bat. He's gone into the corner in left field and a floater to right field. Two outs. Battling the sun was Clayton Gott, and Clayton Gott pulls it out of the air, but not before the Hornets retake the lead. So the Hornets pick up 4 runs on 4 hits. 1 error that didn't get recorded. And 2 left on base. As we head to the top of 3, it's the Hornets 8, the Bobcats 6 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Well, Noah, I mean, you came out first game today, and you're getting to see offense, a lot of runs, and a little defense, and you have one of the best athletic trainers standing behind you, because she just feels bad. You're between Ryan Osborne and Mark Pavlovich. She knows the tension's in your neck. You know, the monkey's on your back. You're in trouble. See, there she is. Lorena is just ready to, whatever happens, happens. So the Hornets, bottom of the 4th, 3-1 over Saddleback. So they're taking the lead on the Bobcats again. The women with all their academic All-Americans. I think that's the most impressive stat of the whole thing. Nice having your own personal trainer during the game. Athletic trainer. Athletic trainer.
Trainer, yes.
Wow. Wow. I thought I was going to get choked for a second. Mr. Pavlovich accidentally got tangled up in his own cord and couldn't recover. I don't know how it got tied in a bow, but, you know. So the Hornets. The Hornets have the lead in this game as we head to the top of 3. Three no's the count. So Weiskell takes that one. Struck out his first time up in the second. Playing first base. Takes his second strike. 3-2. No pitch. A lot of hits, a lot of runs. Fouled away. 6-5-2 for the Bobcats. 8-7-2 for the Hornets.
And it feels like, Mark, that Tellez has really sped up his delivery process. Almost quick pitching Weiskittle.
Tellez thought he had it. He's walking off the mound with a strikeout and doesn't get the call.
Right fielder number
Good call for the
25,
breaking
Liam
ball. He
O'Connor.
had thrown all fastballs during that at-bat. Could have made the argument for it to be a strike.
Connor now comes up. He's got a hit in this game. Got a hit in the second inning. So Tellez on the mound. Once again, tried to pick it at third. Nick Hill couldn't do it. E5.
That's exactly what we were talking about in the last inning, Mark. In that situation, you got to take one step in or one step back. If you get caught in the middle, it ends up going past you like that.
Well, here's the other thing too, Ryan. For a third base person, if it's a ball that's hit so hard that you cannot react to it, but you need to be able to move your feet if you're an infielder. Okay, and the infield is played with foot movement, not upper body movement. So another error by the Hornets. Allow 2 runners on. And Noah, here's the thing too. If you're Nick, you shake it off. Worst thing you can have for an infielder is all of a sudden saying, oh, I've got the yips. Because then you want nothing hit at you if you've got the yips as an infielder.
I think baseball has a weird way. If you don't shake it off and it stays in your head, the ball's going to find you, and it's going to lead to more mistakes.
Yeah, well, you know, the next thing you really want, if you're Nick, you want a hot shot hit right at you. I mean, just smashed at you. You glove it, you make the play at third, you throw over to first for a double play. Nothing gains more confidence than a play. So Turner Pruitt drops a bunt in the ideal spot. Sanchez picks it up and pulls over at first.
Second baseman number 26,
Air.
Robert Wood.
And it looked like if Sanchez just waited a second longer, that ball was going to spin foul because it was headed towards that direction.
So 2 errors in the last inning that opened up the floodgates. We have 2 errors in this inning. Now that was a pretty bunt.
Well placed.
Wood comes up now. Hit by pitch his first time at bat. Deep center field. Gliding back on it, gliding back on it. Caught there, run will score, throw over to second. And the runners are there. So Wood drives it deep into center field. Dean Drake catches up with it. Throws it back in.
Third baseman number 19, Clayton Gott.
So Gott comes up. It's 8-7.
That was heads up base running too by Pruitt on that last play. He saw the cutoff was set up for going to third, so he decides to tag up from first and gets in safely to second.
So Gott drove into his last time up with a single. Takes it up. Lemastra going to take the easy out as another run scores.
Center fielder number 36, Jacob Nasso.
So both teams have scored a touchdown. Fullerton's leading by going for 2. As we get the last out. But not before. Ryan is not the gentleman running the scoreboard, so when you bring the food in and he goes, "I'm Ryan Osborne, please."
Now batting
He's
for
not
Hornets,
the man.
Number 19, Brock Denbo.
So the Hornets looking to answer. Herbert's still on the mound for the Bobcats. They've quickly gone through 3 pitchers in this game so far. Brock Denbo. Hit a little pop fly. Just short. Last time up. Brock's hitting 184 so far this season. .340 on base percentage. High hopper, taken by Clayton Gott. Throw over to first in time.
Left fielder number 5, Brad Pelkofer.
So when you look at Pelkofer so far this season, betting 222, again, somebody who is just getting an opportunity. Nice little freshman who's played well today. Walked, grounded out to second. Went back nicely on a deep fly ball to center field. In the top of the third. Caught it out around the 405 mark when he was out there. Fouls that one away. Corey Nalen, if you're listening or watching, you have to give me a ring later. Had the pleasure of seeing Tim Burns again today. Had a wonderful conversation with Tim out in the parking lot. Former head coach here at Fullerton College. National championship coach here at Fullerton College. Tim looks really good. Oh, freezes him on an easy little pitch.
Second baseman number 1, Ryan Lamastra.
So Ryan Lamastra comes up, walked, then hit a fantastic triple that as soon as he hit, you even thought there no Alvarez. There's only one place he's going to be, and that's over at third base. Ryan Osborne, you liked the way he ran the bases for that triple.
There's a difference in running the bases and then getting to a bag with purpose. And he was trying to sell out for third as soon as that ball left his bat.
Up the middle. Candy hop throw. Not in time. So Lance Gardner makes a nice stop, but has no momentum to get the ball over to first base. Bounces it in there.
Designated hitter number 16, Jack James.
Ryan Osborne's got an E written all over his face on that one.
Absolutely, because that throw would have beat the runner by at least 2 steps.
You do know the players would dislike us so being official scorekeepers? What do you mean?
Very much so.
What do you mean I'm betting 109? I had 4 base hits today. Master goes. Outfield comes underneath it to make the last out. No runs, unknown hits, 1 big error. As we head to the top of 4, we might as well just start all over again. Because we're all tied up here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't you think you ought to do that in baseball?
A reset?
Every inning, if a team comes back and ties you, you reset it and you go back to the first inning.
You thought baseball was long before, Mark.
I know one broadcaster on SportsNetUSA.net that wouldn't do baseball. He's not doing baseball today, and he definitely wouldn't do it during the season if we did that. Ryan, we were talking about the team that is currently leading the OEC, and yeah, I have to agree with you when you look at what they've done. But give Santa Ana a lot of credit when you think about where they were sitting at going in today. Orange Coast College 13-4, Santa Ana 11-6, Cypress 10-7, Irvine Valley 9-9, Saddleback 8-9 going into this game. Golden West 7-10, and then Fullerton College Hornets. Riverside opted not to play because of COVID this season. Gardner, easy fly ball, taken out in right field by Tristan Twist. 1 up, 1 down. Stutka grounded out to
Leading hitter
second,
number
then hit a
23,
double
Stuka.
in the second inning. Lays off the next pitch. 1-1. Quiet day here at Fullerton College. Next one's in the dirt. Everybody is graduated in this unusual school year. Teams are finishing up their seasons. That one fouled. And everybody's getting ready to see what September offers everyone in the classroom, on the field, on the administrative level for all the community colleges. Lemastra grabs a high hopper over at second, flips over to first in time. And if you have the opportunity, stop by one of your community colleges, especially here, stop by Fullerton College or go over to Cypress and see the new construction because of Prop J going up on both campuses. Some of the buildings are getting completed. The Veterans Center over at Cypress College is now completed. Foss takes that for a strike. Ryan Osborne and Joseph Pavlenko did interviews with both college presidents earlier this year. Next one fouled away. Both those interviews still can be found on 90.1 KBPK. So you can talk about what they had going at the beginning of the year and then stop by these campuses to see what's going on now. Growth, progression on the community college level. That one. Curveball that looked like it was a strike, and for those at home, no, the young man behind the plate, that's right, He thought it was a strike too. I got turned around at that. My voice carries, as you might know. It's down and away. So if you have to take over before this game ends, you'll know why. Coach Smith up in Kalinga would probably say, oh yeah, my Uncle Mark's voice carries. Fouled away. Mr. Sanchez said it turned around and said, I thought I heard a car alarm. I thought it was mine. Had nothing to do with the call. Swing and a miss. Tag the runner out for a strikeout. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base here in the top of the fourth. We're all knotted at 8 as we head to the bottom of the fourth here on Sportsnet. USA.net. Noah Alvarez, Ryan Osborne. Ryan, we did this in softball yesterday, so let's do it today because I'm leaving after this game. Memories from this baseball season?
I think the number one memory that you have to go to is that come from behind victory to walk it off and get your first home win of the season. That has to be the one that sticks out the most in my mind. Other than that, we've seen some pretty spectacular defensive plays here, one specifically by Matt Darr in right field, and he went laying out for a catch towards the right field line. That sticks out to me. In terms of players overall, Dominic Martinez was really a person that is probably going to be a very, very, very good Hornet in terms of the record books if he continues the way that he is and stays one more season here at Fullerton College. We saw him emerge out of nowhere. You know, he was second on the depth chart in left field for Fullerton College. They put him out there, put him at the top of the order. And you and I watched him go from a guy who was getting his first start for the Hornets to a guy who was almost irreplaceable in the lineup. So if I had to pick out 3 things, it's that walk-off for Fullerton, the play by Matt Darn right, and then Dominic Martinez coming out of nowhere in this order.
And I'm going to throw Mr. Schubert in the mound. I've loved watching that young man pitch all season long. Maybe his record doesn't show it or anything else, but I think he's had a really excellent season coming off an injury, and it's been a pleasure to watch him and talk to the parents that we have met out here. Twist comes up. Twist swings to that, just fouls it off. Has 1 RBI, then in the second inning got a base hit. Had one of our fans write a note about the team and what they've seen this season. So Twist swings at that one and misses.
Third baseman number 26.
And realize, I'm going to say the biggest thing about this team is the perseverance and the attitude of the players. Bunch of nice young men on this baseball team, always with smiles on their faces, a lot of chatter, a lot of heart. An excellent group of young players, and it's been fun being out here. They've been very kind to the old guy. Hill takes that for a strike. Could look at the record and say tough season, but you know what? They come out and play hard all the time, and that's what you ask of any player. Hill. Deep into the hole. And an easy base hit for Nick Hill. Look at Lance Gardner went back there, and he just, Ryan, Noah, you know when you get to be at shortstop, if you're going to go back that deep, you better have one heck of an arm if you're going to gun anybody out.
Yeah, very tough throw for Garner to make over there.
And again, we talk about this infield. You know, packed in dirt, takes the weird little hops. Takes the big kangaroo hops every once in a while. Pitch outside. We've seen some crazy hops over at second base this season, Ryan Osborne.
We have, especially when you go back and you watch that come from behind walk-off. You and I saw it. That ball just looks like a dribbler and hits a lip over at the right side of the infield and pops right over top of a 6'2" infielder.
Yeah, just some crazy hops on this infield. Wonderful ivy on the wall. Play the old hidden ball trick if you're an outfielder. I can't find it. Well, ground rule double. Like Ryan has said, we've seen more outfielders where we can see the ball sitting in here, and they're claiming I can't find it. I don't know where it's at, ump. Another single. So 2 more hits.
Looks like during the break, too, in between innings, they made a substitution over in left field. That's Brent Riddle now playing left field.
So Riddle in left before this game gets away. Next time around, we'll let Noah set the defense for the Hornets when they go back out on the field. Sanchez, 2 RBIs in this game. First time up, pulls one down the third baseline. It was a motor scooter going down there.
Mark, earlier you were talking about a Fullerton batter who brings their hands up too high than what we're used to. Now here's a batter who brings them below the chest.
And he's gone both ways with his hits. First time up, pulls it down the third baseline for a double. Then flares one to right field for a single last time up. Nice little 5-4-2-3 double play started by Gott. Gott to Wood, Wood over to Weiskittle for a 5-4-3 double play. No runs on 2 hits. Nobody left on base. We head for the top of the 5th, and we'll see who's out there defensively for your Fullerton College Hornets here on Sportsnet USA.net.
So we'll read you what the defensive alignment for the Hornets. Andrew Sanchez still behind the plate for the Fullerton baseball team. Michael Medina is over at first. Ryan Lamastra over at second. Brock Dembo playing short today. Nick Hill at third this afternoon. And from left to right in the outfield, Brad Pelkofer, Dean Drake, and Tristan Twist over in right field.
So Ryan Osborne, what was your favorite thing when you played baseball?
My favorite thing about playing baseball was the adrenaline rush of getting something just sent at you at third. Sure, I didn't make all the plays. Sometimes looked terrible. But you know what? Having the thrill of knowing that ball was coming towards you and it was your responsibility to make the play was one of the biggest rushes throughout the entire game for me.
Noah Alvarez, you played the game. What was your biggest thrill?
I think for me it was whenever I got on, I was really aggressive on the base pass, trying to steal bases.
Now batting for Saddleback,
Especially in Little League 2,
35,
I was one of those players that
Weiskittle.
always would get into pickles. And I wasn't the fastest, but I just felt like I used my quickness and speed to my advantage.
Everybody's got something different when you talk about the game. That's what makes baseball so much fun. It's not the same for all of us. First pitch.
Oof.
High fly ball in the middle of the infield. Tella says, well, I'm the pitcher. I shouldn't touch it, so let me get out of the way. Sanchez says, I'm the catcher. I got to look over my shoulder. Maybe I'll take it. Medina says, well, I could have it. I'm first base. I got a bigger glove. But you know what? You probably need to get more outs than I've had this thing. Why don't you take it? And everybody says, you know what? We're tied. Let's give him another base hit. That goes down as a base hit. Here's your gift for the year. And the Bobcats got it. Yeah, I agree with the comment down to my left.
And it's been that kind of afternoon for Tellez. He's on the mound delivering strikes, kept the ball in the zone. Done a nice job pitching around these hitters, but a lot of defensive miscues that has forced him to be out there longer than he should have been.
Well, here's the problem with what just happened. Both these teams have taken advantage of miscues by the other team. And as a player up there, that's where you start to say, you know, oh, no, we've got to play perfect.
Oof.
Wild pitch advances the runner. So now the runner's at second base. With Liam O'Connor up. Liam had a base hit in the second. Got on in the third on an error by Nick Hill.
going back to the pitcher discussion and having to be perfect, puts a lot of stress on the pitcher too, because after so many defensive miscues and so many errors, you start pressing yourself on the mound to make either a strikeout or just being almost too perfect on the mound, which is not productive either.
So runner at second. Tellus steps off the mound. It's been an enjoyable game from the fact that if you like base hits, you like runs, this is the type of game you want to watch on a nice Friday afternoon. Little pop fly out of play, fortunately for Mr. Sanchez. One of our educators looking out for our student athlete. Tellus taking his time. Brings it home. A lot of pitches that he's felt were close and Sanchez has felt were close, but the man behind the plate is not giving him the call.
Yeah, it seems like that inner part of the plate, he hasn't been too lenient with Tellez and Sanchez.
Down in the dirt. Nice block by Sanchez. Keeps the runner at second base.
And that only adds to the pressure Tellez is feeling on the mound after a few defensive miscues too.
3-2. Nobody out. Runner at second. Even Steven right now in this game. Taken down. Nick Hill picks it up, drops it. So, Nick Hill gets an error on that one.
Catcher number 20, Turner Pruitt.
So we have runner at first and second. So E5 if you're scoring at home, which I know you are with us here on sportsnetusa.net.
You mentioned it earlier in the ball game. You got to move your feet when you're playing infield. A lot of upper body movement from Nick Hill over at third, and he did a better job of staying in front of that one and prevented it from going out into left field, but wasn't able to grab it cleanly.
Tellus throws a breaking ball waist high over the plate and doesn't get the call. One and 0's the count. So a hit, a wild pitch advances the runner to second, and then an error allows O'Connor to be over at first. Off the end. Turner Pruitt got hit by a pitch in the second, got on base via the error in the third. As we're here in the top of the fifth of this 7-inning game. Everybody's slowing down just a little. Giving some defensive signals onto the team. So everybody's being told, hey, if they drop a bunt, this is where you go defensively. Nick Hill halfway at third base. Brock Denbo behind the runner at second. Bunt attempted. Sanchez catches that foul. 1-2's the count. So we'll see if they come back with a bunt. Nick Hill moves back 3 or 4 feet. So this is where you drop the bunt again.
And this is the same batter a couple innings ago, Pruitt to drop the bunt that Sanchez couldn't handle cleanly.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where you don't have to make it a perfect bunt. You just need to bunt it.
Do you have him bunting with 2 strikes?
I do. Yeah, I do. I do. You've got, when you look at it, Nick Hill back at third. Then you look at Michael Medina's back at first. So you're basically looking at Tell as the pitcher and say, you've got to make the play. Two and two's the count. And this is where, when you look at it, too, no, I mean, you've got the entire infield. If you bunt it to the right of the mound, nobody from second's going to get to it. If you bunt it to the left of the mound, nobody from short's going to get to it. It's all on your pitcher to make the play. And here's the thing, too. If you bunt it short, your catcher tags the hitter. You need to have your third base person be aware that he tagged him, because I can't just step in the bag. I've got to tag the runner if he's going to third. And I've seen that mistake made numerous times. Turner Pruitt having a nice at-bat here. 2-2 count. No outs. Runners on first and second for the Bobcats. Looking to re-establish a lead in this game. Base hit and an error have 2 on for him. High off the plate, 3-2. Now if you want to make things real exciting, if you're the Bobcats, you send your runners.
Nobody out, takes them out of the double play ball.
Send your runners and have a little fun. Everybody's back deep. High fly ball to left field, back to the wall. What a catch, out and left by Pelliquer. He goes all the way to the ivy and pulls it down. And if you've ever been out there, Noah, and you get up there, the ivy is a distraction. And he goes out there and makes an excellent defensive play and holds the runner at first base.
And it's not only a distraction, Mark, but I'm sure it's not that comfy to jump into either.
Yep.
Second baseman number 26, Robert Wood.
Now, I think the umpires may be talking because Turner Pruitt rounded first and overlapped the runner that was on first base. Because by the time Pelkifer got the ball in, he was near second.
So they're having a discussion on the runners themselves. So basically it's a fly ball to left field and we leave it right there. And so now we have runners at the corner for the Bobcats. And basically the discussion was on one runner overlapping another. In the dirt, knocked down by Sanchez. Nice play by Sanchez behind the plate, in the dirt, in the batter's box. moves his feet, moves his knees, gets his body in front of the ball, knocks it down, and holds the runners where they're at. Still sets a possible double play.
It's a lot more comforting on the mound when you know your catcher is going to be able to work like that and get in front of the ball. You have confidence in throwing that breaking ball in the dirt.
Runner goes. So a stolen base for O'Connor. So Wood, thinking he had it, umpire surprise. I think that should be the new line in this game. Umpire surprise. It's a...
Flip a coin.
That's it. Wood drives it back, gets one RBI. And two more RBIs come in for the Bobcats.
Third baseman number 19, Clayton Gott.
So 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 error this inning. They're in double digits now for the Bobcats. Clayton Gott playing third base. You look at Gott today, had a hit in the second inning with a couple RBIs, then grounded out to Lamastra, but another RBI scored. He's got 3 in this game. That one's off the plate. Ball 2. So the Bobcats are back in front. One fouled away. On the
Just outside the corner.
So a pitch that was there a while ago. So that's an indecisive pitch is what you're telling me. Could be a ball, could be a strike. What am I feeling like right now? Might be peanut butter and jelly. Well, or it's jelly and peanut butter. Almost pick off at first. So 3-1. Runner goes back again. That time they get him. So back-to-back pickoff moves, and Wood gets thrown out. At first you don't succeed. Well, if you're in college, you continue to try until the teacher tells you you've got a passing grade. First game, 7 innings. Then I leave, Ryan Osborne and Noah Alvarez, they will take you the rest of the way in game number 2. Little check, swing. Master comes up, gets his arm flip over to first. And that's in time. But not before the Bobcats regain the lead in this one. 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 big error. And nobody left on base. As we head to bottom of 5. It's the Bobcats 10, the Hornets 8, here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
Now, Mark, I wanted to ask you because you made the comment about getting a passing grade. When you look at Tellez's outing, yes, there's 10 runs on the scoreboard. He's only given up 6 hits, 5 errors from Fullerton defensively. Are you giving him a passing grade?
As a pitcher?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm giving him a passing grade as a pitcher. I am. I'm doing it too because your defense has to back you up. I mean, when you look at some of the statistics around the league, Orange Coast is number 1. They're batting .301, on-base percentage of .392, and a slugging percentage of .490. Numbers to have you there. The only one that's got a better slugging percentage than them, well, they don't, which right next to them is Cypress. Then you look at pitching. Well, everybody's ERA is suspect this year. Best ERA in the conference, 4.91. That's Cypress. Number 2, 4.94. Orange Coast College. And then, it's sort of like somebody's waist size in this broadcast booth. It continues to grow. And then we get the fielding, which Ryan Osborne will tell you, that's my boogie boo. Golden West 965, Orange Coast 963, Irvine Valley 959, Saddleback 955, Santa Ana 952. Why are those ERAs so high? Because they don't have official scorekeepers like Ryan Osborne and the mean old guy here. They giving hits, so those are earned runs, not unearned runs, and that's why they're up to around 5. Dean Drake. It's a nice little lollipop out to Robert Wood, who brings it in for the first out.
Shortstop number 19, Brock Denbo.
And do I really believe that, Ryan, about the ERAs? Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, God bless the SIDs or the official scorekeepers and want to keep their coaches happy. As broadcasters, we sat in rooms. Ryan Osborne's been with many teams as a broadcaster, so is Corey Nalen and Scott Beck and myself. And there are times that you just, even when it's your school, like Ryan when he was over at where he got his degree from, you would just sit there and go, what? Ryan, I mean, that's true, isn't it?
It is, Mark, but when you look at what we've been offered here at Fullerton College in terms of press boxes, in terms of people we have to work with, it's a very different feel than other places, as you mentioned, especially if you want to work around some of the other community colleges around the state. We've been to places where we'll show up and it's almost like if they knew we were coming and decided to cater to us. Then we've been to other places where it's as if they decided you're going to be broadcasting from the cellular tower 2 miles down the road.
Yeah, it's a little hard to call a game that way, too, and see if it's an error or base hit. Yeah, I mean, I think the most fun we've ever had with calling base hits and errors came in softball at one of our state universities here. And a very well-known and respected pitcher from the Arizona area was doing television while we were doing radio. Scott Beck and her kept having discussions after every play. Because our SID would mark it down as a hit, and you could listen to Scott Beck going, Finally, she turned around and looked at Scott and goes, what did you have? Scott had to explain to this young woman, who was one of the best pitchers all time, why he gave it what he gave it.
She had a decent career.
She did, didn't she? She's always mentioned when you talk about some of the greatest players of all time in softball. Next one fouled away. And that's like I said to Mr. Nayland last night watching one of the regional games. You know, they talk about you and you're number 2 in ERA when your ERA is .22 lifetime. Lisa Fernandez at UCLA. Flare shot. Taken out of the air there by Clayton Gott. So no runs on no hits. Because he has, what's interesting, Ryan, he gave up 2 runs. Both the runs were earned, but he didn't even make it through a third of an inning.
Now batting for
So instead of
Saddleback,
trying to
number
figure that
36,
out, they
Jacob
just put down
Nasso.
INF, and the only thing you can say INF stands for is infinity. So, and so the thing is with Mr. Vega, he just hasn't had the opportunity at the plate. So we go back to the top of the order here in the 6th inning. First pitch is a strike. Vega from the Irvine area, from Crean Lutheran, is where he pitched. 6'1", 185 pounds, freshman on the mound. Jacob Nasso batting .320 coming into today's game. .393 on base percentage. .360 slugging percentage, the freshman. It's 8 hits coming into this game. 1 RBI. Had a couple hits to start off this game. Swings through that one.
So I have, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Daniel Vega now
Shortstop number 8,
officially
Lance
would have
Gardner.
some sort of ERA.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, 2 today. This one's going 7. It's a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. Next game will be 9. Hit shot by Gardner. So he's hit the ball well. Gardner doesn't even slow down as he's into 3.
That will be a 2-base error out in right field.
As a hitter number 23, Luke Stuka.
So it's error number 7 in this game. Push the button. Ron Osborne and I are getting the dirty looks today. Oh, my goodness. Pitch is down and away. Stuka grounded out to second, then got a double in the second inning, then grounded out to second again. 1 for 3. Just a little inside on that one. Overcast clouds coming in, cooling the afternoon off. Not a real hot end of May. Perfect day to play a baseball game. And depending on what age you are, leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, get home at 8 o'clock at night. Hit deep into the gap. Takes one hop and hits the wall. And Stuka comes away with a big stand-up double.
Mark, am I not mistaken in saying that the run that comes across is not earned?
No, it can be classified as earned.
It can be? Okay.
Yeah. Because he got a base hit, and because it's a multi-hit
Number 1,
after
Brent Ritter.
him, you can assume that the runner would have scored from first base. If it was just a single, then no, it would be unearned.
One thing I'm just realizing, Mark, those Saddleback uniforms, those are vests,
They're sleeveless, yeah.
sleeveless.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
They all got the matching undershirts. You don't really see those too often anymore.
Not anymore, no.
So when we talked about the uniform, they have T-shirts on with vest over them. That is not their jersey per se. So how do you present that? Do you say that the
That is a sleeveless jersey, is what
Okay.
it's called. It's not a true vest. A true vest starts more in towards the collar line.
okay? So it's a sleeveless jersey. Okay. Interesting. So the Bobcats put up run number 11. Down and away. 1 out. Vegas starts the inning with a strikeout. Then gives a base hit up into right field where the ball gets away from Tristan Twist in right field, rolls to the wall, allows the runner to get to third. And then Stuka comes up with a double. Twist grabs it, off leg, not in time.
First baseman number 35, Robbie Weiskittle.
So that's another hit for the Bobcats. Three hits in this inning. Runners at the corner. One run in. One out. 11-8 here in the top of the sixth. Runner goes for a stolen base. So runners at second and third, one out. Here in the sixth, we're only going 7. So if you're the Hornets, you need to hold these two runners down by 3 at third base. Noah Alvarez, Ryan Osborne, Joseph Pavlenko, Corey Nealon, Ed Ford, the franchise, Rashawn Haylock, calling all the games for you this year on SportsNetUSA.net.
I think he wanted you to get that one.
Yeah, I was ready. I was going to jump through the screen and throw the runner out at third base. I'm deceptively quick for an old man. I fake him out with looking like I've got a bad hip. While they're laughing at me, I throw him out. That one went to Noah Alvarez. Ryan, get ready. So we're going to have timeout in the field, which is a good day to make a timeout because they're talking Star Wars behind me. Ryan Osborne's getting distracted. Tom Deep and Joe, they're all talking about mascots getting changed. And they're talking about one of our local high schools that changed mascots and at one time had a mascot that came from the rebel forces of Star Wars. And Ryan Osborne's ears picked up. So he's, he's trying to listen. Corey Nealon just decided to go back to the game and said, wait a minute, they're talking Star Wars? So which episode? Here on SportsNetUSA.net. New pitcher takes the mound for the Hornets. So, new pitcher on the mound.
In the pitch for the Hornets, number 46, Michael Curatolo.
See, Noah? See, did you notice that? They were all laughing at the old guy. And did you notice that I happened to see the change there? So I'd tell everybody here in the... That's how I throw the runner out at third base.
That's experience.
See, I know what to do. Get them all laughing, and then I make my move. So, I'm going to let you say the young man's last name so I don't butcher it.
Michael Curatolo.
Curatolo?
Curatolo.
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 So now I just got 2 pronunciations. Which one is it, guys?
Curatolo.
All right. That's from Noah Alvarez, if you're listening at home and watching this game. So Curatello now comes in the game for the Hornets. Out of Brea Linda High School, Brea, California.
Now batting for Saddleback number 25, Liam O'Connor.
ERA of 8.53 so far this season. He's made 5 appearances. Pitched 6 innings. He's given up 4 hits, 6 runs. Struck out 6 and walked 4 so far as a Hornet. So bases loaded for the Bobcats. One in the dirt, and a runner will score. Runners move up. So O'Connor had a hit, got on, got a hit in the second, got on in the third on an error, got on again on an error. Got on again.
Catcher number 28,
With an
Trevor
error.
Pruitt.
So 13 now in for the Bobcats. Run, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Bobcats, 8 runs, 10 hits, and a multitude of mistakes for the Hornets. Taken back up the middle. And another run will come in. Sir Turner Pruitt.
Second baseman number 26, Robert
Gets a hit.
Wood.
Wood got hit by a pitch in the second. Flew out to center, but got an RBI. Got a hit in the 5th. Couple RBIs for him in the 5th, and then got picked off his last time out. Takes that one high. So Wood has an opportunity to get maybe another RBI. 1 out, 2 on. 4 runs in. It's now 14-8. It's a high strike. Getting encouragement to our broadcasters for the next game. Down to the left of me. Pass ball. Tried to be taken to right field. So Wood going with the pitch on that, trying to drive it down the right field line. 14-8. Hornets will have 2 more at bats, so they're well into this game. Don't shut it off now. They'll come back. High pitch off the plate. Down and away for a walk. So Woods over at first. Bases loaded again. Hey, I didn't look at the box scores the other day, but Cypress won a softball game against Golden West College, 21-0.
Yes, 21 to nothing.
And we talk about the run rule all the time. But, I mean, if they score 12 in the first, 12 in the second, you're going to play 5 innings. Why have a run rule with 2 more innings remaining? That one's going to drop into center field, so Gott is going to get a couple RBIs.
Center fielder number 36, Jacob Nasso.
So it's now 16-8, and we're going to get a pitching change for the Hornets. So we'll see who's coming in there. Don't forget, it is Memorial Day weekend, and I know everybody says, hey, have a great weekend, have your Memorial Day picnic, oh boy. But take a little time out. Hey, do me a favor, be like me. I enjoy it, Ed Ford enjoys it, Corey Nalen enjoys it. Go out and read the history and why Memorial Day exists. Go way back to the Civil War and then realize the conflicts that have happened through the years with this country. Be it a war, be it a police action, whatever you want to call it, and think about the sacrifices that those young men and young women have made along the way. They could have been older too. I shouldn't just say young. Older people died. And that's what Memorial Day is about. Those who made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can be sitting here at Fullerton College right now watching a little baseball and calling games here on SportsNetUSA.net. So take a little time out. Hey, if you've got a relative that's been in the military, sit down and talk to them about those individuals that they knew that left with them to defend our country, our honor, and never came home. And understand what Memorial Day is all about. So take a break. Enjoy the great weather. Enjoy that it is a day off from work or school or other chores that you must do. But remember the true meaning of the day Memorial Day this weekend. We do, and we honor all those who have given the utmost sacrifice on this upcoming Memorial Day here on SportsNetUSA.net. So Madrid on the mound for the Hornets. Comes in with 2 runners on, 1 out. 16-8 Bobcats. Saddleback College. Corey Nalen and I have numerous stories to tell you about calling games at Saddleback College, especially football games. I think the best one is the rain going, the wind blowing, little pop fly over at first, taken there for the second out of the inning. So here's the scenario, and Corey Nalen, I wish you were here. The rain is blowing. It's a football game. It's coming down from all things. We're on the mud hill
Shortstop number 8,
side
Gardner.
with the fans. Football teams are across the way. We're on the mud hill. We didn't get to go in the press box. We've got parents that are trying to stay dry, so they come under our easy up, and they're holding onto the legs so it won't blow away. The desk is getting saturated. We take our papers, roll them in a ball, throw them into the trash can, and take our coats off and lay them on top of the equipment. As we're getting soaking wet, we had no idea who had the ball, no idea who was running it. Easy fly ball for the out. And just like the Hornets, when that game was over, we ran off that field as fast as we could here on Sportsnet, USA.net. 16-8. 6 more runs in. On 6 hits, a couple errors, and 2 people left on base. As we head to the bottom of 6, it's the Bobcats, 16. The Hornets, 8, here on Sportsnet, USA. .net. We should have a new pitcher on the mound for the Bobcats?
Correct. That's the big right-hander, Corey Ritchie. Stands at 6'4", freshman from Thunder Ridge High School.
So
Colorado.
new pitcher on the mound for the Bobcats. And Ryan Osborne, if we can, let's let Noah Alvarez one more time because it's been a while. Noah, set the defense for this Bobcat team. Or the defense we think it is.
So behind the plate, still going to be Turner Pruitt. Over at first, it's Robbie Weiskittle. Second base manned by Robert Wood. Lance Gardner playing short this afternoon. Clayton Gott at third. And in the outfield from left to right, Brent Riddle, who subbed in 2 innings ago. Jacob Nasso in center, and Liam O'Connor over in right field.
And you said on the mound for
Pitch for Saddleback is
them,
number
who
34,
was
Corey Ritchie,
Okay.
6'4" freshman
Now
from
batting for
Colorado.
the second baseman, number 1,
Ryan
Ryan
Osborne,
Lamostra.
our Fullerton College women on our softball team, bring home another victory today. First pitch off the plate, 16-8 here in the bottom of the 6th. Ryan Lamastrop walked, got a triple, then got on base with an error.
Also a new catcher in the game, Jackson Skellett comes into the game.
So the softball team continues to win here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan runs over quickly to first base, so he gets there with a walk.
Designated hitter number 16, Jack James.
Jack today got hit by a pitch, and then he got a hit with an RBI, flew out to center field his last time up. Talked about Jack with the high hands, the wavy bat. Takes that for a strike. So Jack's got an opportunity to play today and has taken advantage of it. Little nibbler. Jack's going to try and fly. So 3-1 force out on Jack Janes over at first base.
Right fielder number 27, Tristan Twist.
So Tristan betting 200 coming into this game. He's got a base hit today. RBI in the first inning. Nice little single in the second. One of the 10 hits that the Hornets have in this game so far. On the corner. So Lemastra gets on with a walk. Goes to second. On the force out to Janes. Master taking a big lead over at second base, trying to get a throw somehow, some way. Looking for some way to get in an easy scoring position. Off the plate, nice eye, nice eye. Nice little turnout from the parents that are out there. So walk. And a nice at bat for Twist. He's in the hole early.
This is one thing that you and I have talked about all season, Mark. When the Hornets become patient late in games, it turns into a lot of success for them. We've seen them in 3 different games where they have been down by 4 or more runs and come back to at least tie it when they start by taking the first 3 or 4 pitches.
So we'll see if Nick Hill does the same thing, follow suit to get on base. Fouls that one away.
Mark, how do the tire tracks feel on your chest?
I tell you, they're as bad as the knives in my back. Yeah, but you need to realize I'm old. I don't hear well out of my left ear. Oh, 2 down in the dirt. It's sort of cold in here. I could use a really nice new sweatshirt to keep me warm. You know that, don't you? Man, that's a lot of years that have gone by. Throw the plate not in time. So give it to Ryan Lemastro for a lot of hustle on the play to get in.
First baseman number 48, Michael Medina.
So Michael Medina comes up. So the Hornets slowly clawing their way back into the game. It's 16-9. Here in the bottom of the 6th, 2 runners on. 1 out. Up and away, ball 2. Patience is a virtue, said Ryan Osborne. Two-0 count, brings it home. Ball 3, up and away. 2 runners on, 1 run in, down by 7, bottom of the 6th. Hornets working every angle they can, looking to get back in this game. 1 more on, nice base hit. Down and away, all the way to the backstop, and that's going to load up the bases.
Catcher number 9,
Sanchez,
Andrew
let's go,
Sanchez.
So we're going to have a little conversation. We have someone warming up in the bullpen for the Bobcats, trying to see if they're ready or not. So we'll get a little conversation over there.
Let's go, bud. Don't give me that little. Let's go.
Going to get a pinch runner over at first base. So we've got a pinch runner at first. Marco Malerba is over at first. Umpire turns around, makes sure our conversation's done before he restarts the game. Doesn't want to miss anything. Sanchez takes that first breaking ball.
Come on, bud. Let's go. Got this.
Just continue the parade. Nice little single. Should get in 1, 2, or maybe 3. Come back with a breaking ball, just high and outside, Noah.
I think he's overthinking the strategy. That's Richie on the mound. All fastballs to the first 2 batters and lost his command, but now he's going with the breaking ball to see if he has a little bit more control over that.
Pitch. High bouncer. Look over to home, not in time. Gets the runner at first. Interesting play right there by Clayton Gott. I thought Gott would come home to get the runner.
And considering how shallow that ball was hit in the infield, with his momentum, he could have gone home and then they turn around and go to first for a double play.
Yeah, interesting choice on his part.
Now batting for the Hornets, number 44,
But I think with the comfortable
Carter
big lead,
Kay.
takes the more sure out at first, knowing that run doesn't really mean too much at the moment.
But the run's in with 2 runners now in scoring position. So Carter Kay is now up. Carter batting .263, slugging percentage of .364. Takes that for a strike. One and 2 count, 2 outs, 1 run in. Then you add another one, you got 2. 2 runners in scoring position. Nope, down in the dirt. Called it a suck. So they called him swinging, and he strikes out on the play.
What's interesting there, Mark, I don't think there was a signal from the home plate umpire that he ended up getting called out.
Neither did I.
He just gave himself up down the first base line.
Yeah, I didn't see him call a strike either. But at least the Hornets pick up 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a couple left on base. And so that is going to bring us, because this game must be on a time limit, to the end of this game. So as we come to the end of the game, the Hornets walk away losing game number 1 to these Bobcats, 16-12 here on SportsNetUSA.net. So game number 1 comes to a Bobcat victory. Before I go, let's just say, have a learned Memorial Day this weekend and enjoy the family and friends that are around you. It has been fun all season long calling Fullerton College baseball and softball. And I want to thank both teams for letting us be out here, both coaches, all the coaches for letting us be out here on SportsNetUSA.net, and especially my partners, Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne, Corey Nealon, Rashawn Haylock, and the kid that just showed up today because he had nothing to do, Noah Alvarez. We're all happy to bring you Fullerton College baseball and softball here on SportsNetUSA.net.